Hello!
We're here!
We're here and on the road to WrestleMania.
I was like, when you said, I was like, we're in a different studio.
Touring. This is the Sidewalk Slam touring edition. Yes, we're in a brand new studio. No, new background anyway.
Yeah.
A bunch of people have been like, did you move? Were you on a green screen? No, we redecorated.
Yeah.
Welcome to this for those who are watching the video version. I don't know how many people listen to this on audio only. Presumably some. Who knows?
I'm sure there's a non-zero amount.
Probably. Yeah. Welcome to Sidewalk Slam, the show where Adam and I'm Graham, that's Adam, discuss wrestling storylines and narrative and storytelling from the WWE main roster product. That is to say, Raw and SmackDown. We occasionally dip into NXT a little bit.
Sometimes I watch New Japan. Everyone, but actually, I should say I watch Wrestle Kingdom, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And tonight, we are on the final stop on the road to WrestleMania, as they frequently refer to it as, WWE's Fastlane.
When you mentioned the end of last episode, there's a real bad rap.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Not
was
a good
that? I don't remember hearing that rap ever. And I was watching the Kickoff Show, and I was like, "Oh boy,
it was
this isn't good."
It was in commercials at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Yeah,
it was like, "Yeah, we're going to Fastlane." What?
Big riding, cool guys.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, tears, pain, full throttle, high octane, making moves, taking names, cruising down that fast lane.
Yep.
Something weird. I can't remember. It was not great.
It was real bad.
So, the show, however, was pretty all right. I didn't like it as much as the Elimination Chamber.
Oh, I love Fastlane. I thought it was great.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't think it was bad. They've been on a bit of a heater of pay-per-views recently, which is really good. And like we said, this is the last pay-per-view. Usually, I feel there's more of a downtime between the last pay-per-view before Mania. There's usually like 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. This is 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Mania's in 4 weeks.
Yeah, they have 4 weeks.
Holy moly.
For the biggest show of the year.
Yeah. And
they've got a lot to get done.
Boy, do they have some storylines to lead into it with.
Because like Seth and Brock haven't even touched each other, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, something might be happening as we record, because we're recording on Monday night.
Monday nights is our record night.
And Raw is currently underway, and it's opening with a farewell address of the Shield. More on that later. And who knows what could happen. I assume Brock has to show up.
Okay, I haven't watched Raw.
Don't hit the table. The mics are attached to the table now.
Yeah, I can't hit the table. Okay. I haven't watched Raw yet.
Uh-huh.
My guess is, I thought it was going to happen at this show, but it didn't. Ambrose turns on the Shield again.
After months ago.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Anyway, tonight, however, we are looking at Fastlane, so let's just get right into it. Live from the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah.
This is Fastlane. Now, the kickoff show, normally we just sort of go, some stuff happens during the kickoff show. Mm-hmm. Everything that happened during the kickoff show tonight becomes relevant during the main show, so I am going to talk about it very, very briefly.
Yeah.
First of all, they were going to have a match between Andrade and Rey Mysterio.
Yes.
They were just going to have a match because they've been having a feud on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And Carmella, who is R-Truth's manager, was trying to get people to sign a petition to give R-Truth a rematch against Samoa Joe, who recently beat him for the U.S. title, because as they've been hammering home as part of the Raw...
it like every hour. Every hour.
It's so weird. As part of the Raw tag team storyline, they've been mentioning a lot that the automatic rematch clause is no longer a thing. So that if a wrestler loses a championship, they don't automatically get one shot to get it back.
Yeah.
So Carmella's been trying to get people to sign a petition to allow R-Truth to get his shot back. And he's there, and Andrade is there, and Mysterio's there, and Samoa Joe comes out and is like, look, I don't care who, I'll fight all of you. I don't care. Because he's Samoa Joe, and he doesn't care. And so then they're like, all right, you know what? Andrade and Mysterio, your kickoff match is canceled, and we're going to have a fatal four-way with all four of you during the main show.
Yeah. What the nice touch about this segment, too, was... I love Joe signing the petition.
Yeah.
Joe signed the petition because he's like, he doesn't care who he fights. He's like, whatever, I'll fight R-Truth. Like,
why not?
That was great. Yeah. Samoa Joe's the best.
Yeah.
We all know Samoa Joe's chances of winning in a fatal four-way.
Oh, I know. Let me talk to you about the numbers, Senior Joe. The other thing that happens during the kickoff show is that Big E and Xavier Woods from the New Day have a match against Rusev and Nakamura.
Yeah.
And they win that match after hitting the midnight hour.
Yeah.
This is a match, by the way, that Xavier Woods, he tweeted on like Friday, I think it was. He was like, wow, good thing I opened up Twitter to find out I have a match on Sunday.
Yeah, it was so good.
Because it was like a very last minute thing.
Yeah.
But earlier in the Kickoff Show, the New Day got word that Vince wanted to talk to Kofi about the championship match.
Yeah.
And more on that when we get to that part of the show.
When that part happened too, I was watching and I was like, they're going to...
Like, that's
okay,
odd, isn't it?
That's a really weird storyline beat for like WWE, right? Like to get the way WWE works their redemption stories isn't like that.
No.
They don't just like randomly insert, especially when it's like something that the audience wants.
I mean, aspects of the story have already been kind of weird and random.
Yeah.
So... Yeah.
We'll get more on that later. But
anyway,
yeah.
So to the actual show. It's the road to WrestleMania. We're in Cleveland. It's all very, the last stop on the road, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. The first match is the Usos defending against Shane McMahon and The Miz for the SmackDown Tag Team titles.
Yes.
Hometown crowd for The Miz.
Yep.
So big pop.
Yep.
For The Miz, who is also wearing a shirt they were presumably selling that night, which is orange. It says Cleveland is awesome with the upside down M.
Yeah.
So, big face pop for The Miz.
Yeah, that's great.
Through this whole feud, it's been kind of amazing.
Yeah.
People just like The Miz. When he's an asshole, he's really good at it.
Yeah.
People are like, man, he's so good at it. And so people are like, yeah, all right, sweet.
Yeah. And the Usos are just the Usos. Even like the build up to this wasn't like anything bigger than what we covered during the last match, like the Elimination Chamber match. Mm-hmm. It was like essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
Leading into this, it was like Miz is like, my dad's gonna be there. It's my hometown. Let's do this, Shane.
Yeah.
Rah rah. And like, Miz picked up a victory over. They did the thing where, well, actually Shane didn't wrestle, but the Miz wrestled one of the Usos and like beat him in a singles match. What they do with tag teams.
So they come out. Miz's dad is at ringside.
Yeah.
Wearing the Miz and Mac, the Mac and Me jersey, whatever it is.
Now all I can see is that weird little alien every time. The Mac and Me looking motherfucker. Like,
I realize Miz doesn't actually reveal the Cleveland is awesome shirt until like partway through the match. But big pop for that. 2 spots I want to talk about actually 3 spots I want to talk about during the match of the in-ring storytelling before we get to the end. The coast to coast bit where one of the Usos is sitting in the corner and Shane is like, all right, time to go for a coast to coast, but from a different corner than he usually does it from.
Yeah.
That was interesting. So he climbs up and he's going to go for it. And the other Uso climbs up on the opposing turnbuckle and is like, don't do it. Yeah. And Shane's like, don't get in my way. I'm going to do this. And the other guy's like, no, you're not. And they just both jump and just collide in midair. It's one of those moves that like, it's ugly, but not in like they messed that up kind of way. Just like,
just like painful.
There's no way around that. That just sucks.
I thought when they collided was when one of the Usos went for a splash and Shane kicked them out of the air. I'm pretty sure.
Well, they definitely both collided with one of the Usos in the corner and Shane threatening to do the coast to coast.
Yeah. The one that I'm thinking of is when one of the Usos went for their big splash.
Yeah.
And then Shane comes out of nowhere. Like
there was that too.
Yeah, the timing when Shane like did the big double drop kick in the middle of the ring. That was nutty. It was like, holy shit. Shane, don't die.
There was
Please don't die.
Please don't die. We haven't seen, at least I haven't really noticed one of these in quite a while. Mm-hmm. A beautiful example of the flying nothing.
Yeah.
From Miz. Just a real bad flying nothing. He's up on the turnbuckle, he's showing off the Cleveland is awesome shirt, and then he jumps down and gets super kicked by both Usos at once. Mm-hmm. But it's like, what move were you trying to do? You just jumped from the turnbuckle onto your feet. Yeah. And it didn't look like... We've talked about this once, like maybe like a year and a half ago.
It was a while
the
ago,
term flying nothing is a term for when a wrestler is doing a top rope maneuver that is going to get countered. That like everyone knows the choreography beforehand is that this move will get countered.
Yeah.
So the jumping wrestler, instead of starting to actually do the move, puts themselves in a position where they can safely take the bump.
Yeah.
And so Miz just jumps down. And it's like, it's very obvious that he wasn't going to do anything. Yeah. But
it's
whatever.
like when people would jump at Randy Orton with like arms to the sides and like straight forward to take an RKO.
Just Ouija.
Yeah, right? Like they just Ouija launch at people and it's like, oh, well, here comes the RKO. It's like Christian did it a bunch when they like feuded with Randy. So
the other thing was that the skull crushing finale, he hits the skull crushing finale, and it would have worked if the ref hadn't been distracted.
Yeah, I like that touch. Yeah.
So redemption for that, which I thought was good.
It's back, baby.
Yeah. In the end, however, Miz goes up top and goes for a frog splash.
His dad, he's outside the ring, and his dad goes and points up.
He's like, go for it. And Miz is like, okay.
Actually, commentary did a great job because Miz did a splash outside the ring.
Yeah.
And it was like, what? And even commentary was like,
that's not the Miz.
That's not the Miz. That's weird. Yeah. So, he climbed out on the apron and looked at his dad, and his dad points up. And I guess, up, other than the only up pointing was like, he could have been pointing at the WrestleMania sign, I guess. Maybe Miz misconstrued.
So Miz is like, all right, I'll go for it. So he goes up top, goes for a splash. Jay gets his knees up, and then is able to roll up Miz for them to retain the titles.
Yep.
And so the Usos leave. They celebrate. They leave. Shane and Miz commiserate. They go over to Miz's dad. They hug. Shane raises Miz's hand and is like, "This guy's great." Raises his dad's hand or whatever, and then they start heading backstage. I wish Shane had just given a look to Miz's dad and been, or done something like, hey, watch this or something, just some sort of thing, because it seemed to just come out of nowhere. But we all knew this was coming, or at least Adam correctly guessed last episode this was coming.
Yeah.
Shane just cleans Miz out from behind with a clothesline, just attacks him. After, it was sort of like,
hate to see it happen.
We were just waiting for it, right? It was like, oh, they're getting along. They're commiserating after the match. I was like, Shane's going to punch his dad. Nope. Okay, all right. It seems like it's not happening. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
And then, Shane just starts feeding shots to Miz on the ground while Miz's dad does the worst acting.
Yeah, it's real bad. He's like...
He just stands there like, oh.
He looks like
my son's being punched.
He looks like disappointed that the Miz isn't a good softball player or something.
That's
the kind of expression of, my son will never be an athlete.
That's a shame.
That's the way Hank Hill looks at Bobby. Yeah. The look that he had on his face. Yeah, it was not great.
It felt like he should have leapt the barricade, tried to fight Shane or something.
Well, they did. They tried to they put a security guard there, but the security guard just did this,
just sort of
the
rested
one
his hand on his shoulder,
and he just stood there and watched his son get brutalized, which kind of was kind of funny, but kind of weird and kind of awkward.
And then Shane goes over to the dad and grabs his face and pushes him back down into the chair.
Yeah,
and anyway,
but Mrs. Dad only sells propane and propane accessories, so he has no feeling left.
Props though. You had someone tweet at you about this.
Yeah.
Props to the two guys, one specifically standing. They were in the front row, right beside where Shane was attacking Miz.
Yeah.
Who he was standing. I was wearing a black and white plaid jacket or something, and he kept being like, "Why, Shane? What are you doing? Don't do it, Shane. Stop." And it was clear, because this guy also wasn't a good actor, it was clear that he was like, oh, I'm right here. I have to do this.
Yeah, it's I'm an actor now.
It was very clear that he was playing along, and good for you.
Yeah.
Props to you, man, for not being like, I fucking called it. I'm going to go tweet about this. He was like, no, don't do it. Stop, Shane. Why? And I was like, yes. That guy.
Well, remember that one pay-per-view where they're like, don't do it, and then he did the thing and he's like, oh no, you did it, off in the crowd. Yeah, it was so good.
I can't remember what that was.
Don't do it, and then he hits him with a set of stairs. No, it was the Bludgeon Brothers. And then when they powerbomb Xavier Woods onto the stairs, they're like, don't, you just hear way off softly in the background, don't do it, and then they powerbombed Xavier Woods onto the stairs and oh, you did it. I forgot about that.
Oh man!
Shout outs to people that add to the melodrama. Do you think he was a plant by WWE?
No, I think he was just like, I have to help sell this moment.
Yeah, it's my duty.
Yeah, I have a front row seat. I got to do this. So
he had to do it to him.
Yeah, he had to do it to him.
You hate to see it happen.
Shane then really awkwardly gets Miz into a triangle and chokes him out.
Yeah. Man, there was some really good tweets about the second before Shane hit the Miz, it's like record scratch. You're probably wondering how I got in this position. And then like there was another one where like Shane was like, or Miz was in the triangle choke and he's like all passed out and shit. And it's like record scratch. You're probably wondering how
that's me.
That's me. Yeah.
So Shane eventually leaves. The Cleveland crowd boos loudly.
Yeah.
And then Miz wakes up and he and his dad and security all walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My theory
is
that Shane McMahon did this because he's jealous that the Miz's dad was showing up to these matches
and Vince wasn't.
Ooh. I think that's what's going to be like the driving force.
I like that.
Yeah.
So this is obviously Shane and Miz at Mania, right?
Yeah.
That's the Shane match at Mania.
That's the Shane match at Mania. It'll probably be like a no DQ or a
dad
street
in every
fight.
corner.
It'll be my dad on a pole match.
Son, help, it's slipping.
I think it'll be a street fight. I'm calling it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The Miz in a street fight, that would be unusual.
Yeah. But Shane's got to do something.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was 2 years ago he fought AJ. What did Miz do? What did Shane do last year? Oh, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this whole Shane McMahon thing? Because we're going to get another bad guy McMahon on TV again. People are saying, and it makes sense to me, is that, you know, all these interruptions by Vince with Becky and like Vince with Kofi.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like Vince and Shane against Steph, because Steph and Triple H are going to be like the people that are just like, we want to reward competition. Because Steph is the one that reinstated Becky Lynch into this match tonight.
Yeah.
And so now it's like the lines are drawn. And like, did Vince hire Batista to attack Ric Flair? And like, I don't think they're going to go that deep on it.
That's a long shot. But there'll be a division in the authority.
Yeah.
Because I don't care about the McMahons, but
neither of us.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. It's interesting that the McMahon family had their own like singular dressing room backstage.
Yeah,
for this, because it is very much, very clearly like the McMahons are in charge again.
Yeah,
and so I don't know where this is going. I like your dad theory. That makes the most sense to me.
Or like Shane being like seeing him like because the Miz kept failing and
his dad didn't stop supporting him.
Yeah, and his dad didn't stop supporting him, and like what would Vince have done if Shane had been the one? Like, let's say Vince was in the crowd watching and Shane had been the one that had been pinned. Maybe this is going way too deep.
Vince would have left in disgust and eaten a beef wrap.
Yeah, beef wrap. Just give me a beef wrap.
What's a burrito?
Dude, this is a great story about Steve Austin. Tangent time!
Nice.
Steve Austin, when Steve Austin met Vince McMahon for the first time, and Steve Austin ordered chicken breast plain and put mustard on it. Oh. And Vince found that really weird. He's like, dude, he just ate chicken breast and mustard.
I find that a little weird, to be fair.
It's a little strange.
I would never tell that to Steve Austin's face, but
no, not in a million years. Steve, if you're watching.
Hi.
Hey.
Big fan. Backstage, we get a promo from Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, and Bobby Lashley, who are one half of the main event tonight, because it is those three versus The Shield.
They're back again.
The last reunion of The Shield is sort of that's the gimmick for the match, and we'll talk more about that when we get closer to the match. But this was shot very much like one of the old, like 2012 Shield promos, except that when they did those, Dean was actually holding the camera instead of this, which was really obviously just them sort of putting their hand near the camera. This is Graham cares more about production than
it looks stupid as shit, even for someone that like doesn't.
Because the way they handed it off, it was just
I blame
like,
you for this, because I watched and I was like, they're not even grabbing the camera. I was so mad.
He's just putting his hand like near it, and then when they hand it off, it's just like it's really smooth, and they're like, oh, now my hand's under it, and it did not have the same sort of intensity as the Shield promos used to actually do, and they said largely meaningless.
They just said a bunch of random wrestling horse shit that doesn't matter. It's like, we're the toughest.
There was no good storyline leading into the main event, in case that wasn't
And then Bobby
clear.
Lashley talked, and I was like, someone pouring out plain yogurt somewhere? Like, that's all I hear. It's just like, there's no taste.
Lashley's not good without Leo.
Yeah. I love Drew McIntyre
on promos.
I actually really like Baron Corbin too. I've always liked Corbin. Yeah. I've always been pro Corbin. Mm-hmm. But Lashley, man, that guy, oh boy.
Yeah. Next is the first part of tonight's trilogy of Elias.
Oh yeah.
Is really Fastlane was more of an Elias concert with random wrestling breaking out.
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
He shows up in the ring and sings.
Yeah.
Doesn't wrestle. He's just there. So, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And he sings a song about Miz getting beat up by Shane.
Yeah.
And it's like, A, are you a precog? Or B, did you write that like just now?
Yeah.
How did you do that? From a storyline. Understand?
Yeah,
Obviously, they knew it was going to happen. But I'm like, how did you know? Boy, you're quick.
I just picture Graham just being fucking blown away. How did... Oh my God.
Also, lucky for Elias that Cleveland has so many sports teams.
Yeah,
Because
and shitty sports
every
teams,
single
too.
one of these songs, every one of these songs was a brief part of a recap of something that just happened. It's like, did you miss the last match? Here's Elias to tell you all about it.
Yeah.
And then crapping on Cleveland
Yeah,
sports
he's like,
teams.
Tweedledee, last match, babyface, burn, your sports team sucks. And then that's basically the formula.
That was
But it's
it.
a classic wrestling formula.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
like,
know, but just 3 times in one night. He's like, I'm going
I
to go
love
out to LA and hang out with LeBron.
That was
Bwah.
really great. Yeah. I loved that one.
Sucks to have Cavaliers. Bwah.
Bwah.
You know.
Is Elias a wrestler?
Yeah. It's a pretty
Ostensibly.
good deal. It's a pretty good deal, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
he just gets to show up to work. He's very charismatic. So it's like...
He plays guitar better than he sings.
He didn't
Okay.
He didn't do the crowd chant thing. Sorry. The
Oh,
walk with Elias.
Walk with
thing.
Elias.
Yeah, he didn't say it.
Yeah, he didn't.
Once that night.
Huh.
I
Well,
wonder
because
if-
he's a heel again.
Yeah, but he
For
was
some
even
reason.
saying that like on Raw and stuff.
Yeah.
Like- Yeah, there was a weird like 1 week where Elias was a babyface. They turned him
Right, yeah.
when after Roman went out. There was like a brief 1 episode of Raw where Elias was a babyface.
There's a brief video package next to update everyone on the goings-on between, we mentioned it briefly, Batista.
Yeah,
Big Dave.
Big Dave
the
is
animal
back.
Batista. He showed up at the end of an episode of Monday Night Raw and attacked Ric Flair to get Triple H's attention, and they're going to have a match at WrestleMania.
They're gonna have a fighty
It's-
play. They're going to the fighty place.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
He beat up an old man so people would pay attention to him.
Yes.
Okay.
To be fair, the old man is Ric Flair, who is timeless and ageless and formless,
Yeah,
like Cthulhu.
yeah.
Yeah,
If you see him,
you will know.
you start losing
start
control of
making
your faculties.
Well, to be fair though, that one line by Batista too, when I think I mentioned it last episode, where I was like, I'm in, like I'm all
Yeah.
in on this because like,
Did I get your
man,
attention
Dave
now, Hunter?
Batista is a good actor.
Yeah, man.
Like that one line, I was like, you could tell Hollywood's paying off, and I'm excited for this, like, because I guess they're having a face-to-face meeting as we talk on
Yeah,
Raw tonight.
on Raw.
So I'm excited to see what that promo sounds like, because Dave Batista is a, pardon the pun, different animal than when he was first in the WWE. I think the acting is going to pay off big time.
I think so too. Yeah.
And he's playing a heel, which is nice.
Yeah.
Because last time he was here was the Daniel Bryan debacle.
He's only really a heel insofar as he attacked Ric Flair on his 70th birthday, which I guess is a dick move. But
Yeah.
you know, it's
Well, someone attacked your grandpa on their 70th
well,
birthday.
yeah, but it's just between him and Triple H. You know, it's not really a. I could see people cheering for him in this.
Yeah. I guess the audience is the true barometer, but I think that
Don't
Yeah.
tell them that. We are over. The next match is the SmackDown Women's Championship with Asuka defending against Mandy Rose with Sonya Deville at ringside. Mm-hmm. Because we mentioned last episode that there was that win over
we
them on
didn't mention?
SmackDown. What?
was it on the pre-show or was it on this show where EC3
Oh,
harangued them in the hallway? It was
finally
weird.
found out how to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sonya Deville and Mandy
I didn't
Rose
like this.
were being interviewed backstage.
I didn't like it.
And EC3, or Ethan Carter III,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Who, by the way, I am amazed that they're still calling him EC3 because the character's name is Ethan Carter III because he was a descendant of Dixie Carter
Yeah, in
from
TNA.
Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that they kept that name.
Yeah.
And they've been having him show up on Monday Night Raw and not talk,
Yeah.
which is bizarre because he's not bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he shows up. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are being interviewed during the Kickoff Show, and he shows up and is like, "Hello," and they're like, "Whoa, he can talk. Look at this." And he says, he talks about how hot Mandy Rose is and how want to. Basically, he's trying to pick her up, and Sonya Deville is like, "You finally start talking, and that's your opener."
That's pretty good.
And just Sonya Deville like just verbally eviscerates
Dude,
him.
when Ethan Carter was like, it's like, stop that. Stop
Stop making that noise.
Yeah, stop making
he just
that
sort of
noise.
goes like, And then Sonya Deville does it back to him, and he does it again. And
I'm
then
like,
leaves.
stop!
Yeah.
Stop! I was like, arrête! Like, cease and desist.
I could, yeah. I'm curious if they're going for. I'm curious if Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville will be WWE's first ever tastefully handled lesbian relationship, because Sonya Deville is publicly actually gay.
Yeah.
And I don't believe Mandy Rose is necessarily, but just the way that Sonya in this thing, the way that she said to EC3 was like, look, if, Mandy is not put on this earth to, to go out with you or whatever, and if she was going to be romantically involved with somebody, it wouldn't be you. Mm-hmm. And so that combined with their chemistry after this next match, I was sort of like, are they actually just like low key presenting them as a couple at some point, but without being like, surprise, they're gay. Woo! It would be impressive if they could handle that properly for once.
I have zero faith.
Correct.
In the WWE to pull this off.
I'm theorizing a bold future.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be neat?
You know what we need?
No. Vince, no.
Lesbians.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Buckets of lesbian pollen.
Exactly, yeah.
Lesbian.
Yeah, he watched the OSW video. But yeah.
So good. Also, has there actually been a male gay wrestler?
There has.
It was insinuated heavily with the tag team Billy and Chuck, but it was insinuated in the way that it was comical and like not taken seriously whatsoever.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they also were not actually gay.
Yeah.
Whereas Darren Young was, and that became public. That was never acknowledged on camera, but it did become public. Darren Young is not with the company anymore, not for that reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to answer your question, Beej, not really, because the only time characters have been gay, the performers were not, that we are aware, and it was played for comedy.
Yeah.
So-
It's always in WWE's history is any gay couple is played for comedy.
Yeah, it's not been positive.
It's not been positive.
Or titillation.
Yes, exactly. Depending on the
So it's
genders,
just like
yeah.
it's like, man, I want them to do it, but at the same time I don't, because I know that
they'll do it poorly.
they'll fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like representation is super important. We're gonna get on. I'm gonna get on my soapbox here. It's like
do it.
Representation is important.
Yep.
And I do not have any faith whatsoever in the WWE to pull this off with any semblance to tact or like subtlety.
Yeah. And this is just a complete theory
Yeah.
for me that I'm like, I see that they could maybe take this in that direction. And if they do, I will reserve judgment.
Yeah.
This match, by the way, is brief
It's
and
not
fine.
great. Yeah.
It's not great. Mandy's not bad,
Yeah.
to be clear. But basically, Asuka it's a bit of a shit kicking.
Yeah.
Asuka sort of dominates this match. And then what ends up...
There wasn't much of a story, right? Like Mandy
No.
beat Asuka in a non-title match.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah. And so what happens is Sonya is at ringside and starts getting nervous, and at one point starts like looking under the ring for something, some sort of device. And they're like, what's she looking for? And then later
Who's that Pokemon? It's a kendo stick.
she flips the ring apron up again.
Yeah.
She like flips the apron up into the ring, grabs a kendo stick, and is sort of standing at the side of the ring like she's going to attack Asuka with it, maybe. And Asuka Irish whips, I think, Mandy over to that side of the ring where barely Mandy trips on the ring apron and falls, and then Asuka is able to...
Asuka fucking kicks her head off. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
see somebody, I saw a tweet that somebody spliced in the Street Fighter knockout, KO,
Yeah.
perfect, and then like
It's one of those things where when you watch it in slow motion, it's sort of like her face starts moving and then her skull catches up.
yeah,
Yeah, no, Asuka really cleaned her out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's because she tripped on the ring apron, which would have been more believable if she had made more contact with the ring apron. But the point is that Sonya...
But to be fair, to their credit, the whole ring apron thing was a bit of a stretch in the first place.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the ref just run over and kick it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, The ref would just be like, "Oh, you can't have this abstracting."
Well, he did. Well, he was about to.
Yeah.
Like he saw it, and he saw the ring apron and went, "Oh!" and then went to go and fix it, and then and then there was a pin attempt, and he was like, "Oh, gotta count it," and then so they actually played that fine.
Okay.
Yeah. But
shit.
Anyway, Asuka retained, and then after the match, Mandy was not happy with Sonya, and they walked out with Sonya trying profusely to apologize, and Mandy not really being in the mood in that particular moment.
Yeah.
So
it was good. It was a nice little bit of storytelling. It was a bit of a stretch with like the apron and like why Mandy would like not Mandy, why Sonya would like dig on like you know what I mean. It just felt it's very like this is the reason, you know.
I assume that they'll play up sort of Mandy being like, why were you even under there? Why didn't you have faith that I'd be able to close that out on my own, sort of thing? And we'll see how it goes.
What if she's like, I was looking for Hornswoggle.
I just wanted to make sure that this leprechaun wasn't going to run out. And Backstage, we now get some resolution for that thing we mentioned in the Kickoff Show for Kofi being asked to go and see Mr. McMahon.
It's bizarre.
So Kofi's waiting outside the locker room, the McMahon family locker room. Big E and Xavier Woods show up. I love this, by the way. Xavier Woods has a ice pack saran wrap to his shoulder.
Yeah.
Because of did he get Kinshasa'd or something happened to him in the pre-title in the Kickoff
Well, he
show.
was in the Accolade for like a long time.
That was it. So he's icing his shoulder. Big E and Xavier show up and they're like, well, what is it? And he's like, I don't know. I've been waiting. Every time I try to go in, they keep telling me to wait. And so they go inside and Big E and Xavier are like, well, hell with waiting. This is important. So they bust in, and McMahon's like, well, what are you doing here? And they're like, well, Kofi's supposed to talk to you. And he's like, I've been waiting for an hour for Kofi.
Yes. Okay.
And so it's, it's sort of like, I think that it's going to be like we still don't know why Vince McMahon pulled Kofi from this title match. Have we talked about that on the show?
Nope.
Okay, so
we can talk about it now.
Scheduled for Fastlane was after his impressive performance at Elimination Chamber. Scheduled for Fastlane was a title match. Daniel Bryan defending against Kofi Kingston on an episode of SmackDown. During the contract signing, Daniel Bryan signs the contract, and then Kofi's like, I've been waiting 11 years for this opportunity. Awesome. And before he can sign it, exactly the same thing that happened to the Becky and Ronda match happens, which is Vince McMahon comes out and goes, Kofi, no, you're not the right material for this. I'm taking you out of this match and replacing you with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And people are excited to see Kevin Owens, and who is the face in this, by the way. But they're bummed about.
You know why I
Kofi.
think that happened the way it did? Is because I think the original plan was Kevin Owens to face Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. And then they were like, well, we need to bring Kevin back, and we don't want to wait till after WrestleMania. So they were like, we're going to do it this way. And then we can get to Kofi at WrestleMania versus Daniel.
Yeah.
That's it. Real weird way of doing it, but
yeah, maybe. I kind of think that this storyline is sort of like, I think between now and Mania, Kofi's going to have to prove to Vince that he wants this. I think that's the angle they're going to play. That it's like, I've been waiting 11 years for this, and Vince is like, we shouldn't have been waiting. Right? Yeah. I think that's going to be, because that's actually there's
talk about how that's how Vince operates.
There's a story on the Talk Is Jericho podcast with Kofi about how years ago they were on a plane going somewhere, and the plane lands and everyone starts disembarking and they're finishing up their drinks, and Vince says something to Kofi about like, well, maybe one day you'll get over. And they get off the plane, and Jericho says to Kofi, like, you got to go back and challenge him. What? Like, on what he said? No, you got to go back and challenge him to a fight. And Kofi thought about it for a couple of seconds and was like, okay. And they went back to the plane. Jericho was like, well, I got to see how this goes. So he goes on the plane, and Vince is still there, and Kofi's like, do you have a problem with me? And Vince, like, serious is up. And he's like, why? What do you mean?
You're so small.
You want to do something about it?
Yeah.
And Kofi's like, do you want me to do something about it?
Yeah.
Do you want to do something about it? And then Vince, this is according to Jericho, Vince dives for Kofi's legs. And then they have a fight. They have a scuffle. And then a second.
On the plane?
After it landed.
Oh, thank Christ.
Yeah. After it landed. And then
The plane's 20,000 feet in the air. They're just rumbling around.
and then they stand back up, and Vince is like, good times, and then gets off the plane. Vince loves that kind of stuff.
Oh, he lives for that kind of stuff.
He's not a well man.
Yeah.
And
Weird, dude.
And that's the weird sort of, you hear stories like this often about wrestlers challenging Vince, not always physically, but just sort of, that's how you get his respect.
Yeah.
Is to stick up for yourself. And it seems like that's the sort of storyline. They're like, I've been waiting an hour for you in this little backstage bit. That seems like kind of the direction that they're going with this, that it's like Vince doesn't think that Kofi deserves that
so
shot.
fucking weird.
So who knows if that's actually what they're doing, but
Does that mean, Graham, that one day you're going to try to do a double leg takedown on me?
No, you're bigger than I am, and I don't want to risk you like falling on me like a tree.
That's my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
just T-pose and fall straight down.
Over, yeah.
If you get stuck under me, it's your own fault.
So Xavier and Big E are like, you can't do this guy like that. You got to put him in this match. He deserves it. And so Vince is like, all right, I'll tell you what we'll do. He says the championship match tonight will be a triple threat. Kofi, get to the ring. Your match is next. And it's like, all right, sweet.
This is important how he words this.
It sure is.
I thought this was so good.
So he gets to the ring. They do his intro. He says to
Like,
Big
your
E,
match is right now.
and he says to Big E and Xavier, you two are banned from ringside.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, sure. So he gets in the ring. And then the timekeeper starts talking to the ring announcer and the ref. And the ring announcer's like, okay, sure, and gets on the mic and is like, this is not the championship match. This is a handicap match between Kofi Kingston and The Bar, both of whom will be legal at the same time. So Kofi's match was next.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-person match with,
The Bar.
The Bar, and they're both legal at the same time,
You
which
know
is
what
not typically how a handicap match works.
You know what I couldn't stop thinking about was, what if The Bar was like, sitting backstage, minding their own business, and Vince is like, get out there and beat the shit out of Kofi. And then they're just like, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, it's a job. It's a living,
Halfway through lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't booked for tonight, but glad I brought my trunks, I guess.
Yeah.
So they beat the crap out of Kofi.
Yep.
By the way, Cesaro's so good. Because it's just them beating the crap out of Kofi, there's a "this is boring" chant, right?
Yeah.
That comes up. And the crowd's chanting, "This is boring, this is boring." And Cesaro, and Kofi's basically lifeless at this point. And so Cesaro points to the people doing it and is like, "This is over."
Yeah.
And then pins Kofi, 1, 2, pulls him back up and stares at the people who are chanting, "This is boring."
That's so good.
It's just like,
Yeah.
it's boring, is it?
It's boring. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
You want me to make him suffer more?
Yeah.
Eventually, Big E and Xavier Woods run out, and the reason I mentioned the taped shoulder earlier is because Xavier's still selling the shoulder. Mm-hmm. He's really good at it.
He's
really good at storyline. Anyway, they run out to save Kofi. They can't get, because it's not what they thought. So they're like, well, we're not going to be banned from ringside for this. So they run out. Before they can get to the ring, Rusev and Nakamura come out and attack them.
Yeah.
And the Bar hits a double white noise on Kofi, and they get the pinfall. And so it's like, aw. And the crowd is sad for Kofi, as they should be, because that's the story. So good job.
Man, Kofi's very good at selling disappointment, too. When they announced that it was a handicap match, he's like,
Elias comes back out and sings about Kofi getting beat up and craps on the Browns this time? Who was it?
Did he
it was
include
the
a
Cavaliers
part
again.
about everyone saying this is boring too? Or
No.
Oh, damn, that's too bad.
I don't think they were quite so nimble with it.
no.
They do have a backstage back at the McMahon family dressing room. The backstage reporter, whose name escapes me because there's 2 of them and they look very similar. Mm-hmm. Shane is coming out of the room and she's like, "Shane, do you have a comment on your heinous attack against
Yeah, why
the
did she
Miz?"
say it like that?
Don't editorialize. Journalism. Do you go to journalism for that?
Did you go to a Oh, they were
You
on the
must be
pre-show.
joking me.
They were on the pre-show. They were really funny.
I don't think we need to A, ask that question, or B, answer it, to be honest.
So yeah, you've got
Joking me.
basically, do you have any comment on your heinous attack on on The Miz in his hometown in front of his dad.
Yeah.
And Shane just looks at her and is like, and just goes back inside and closes the door.
Yeah.
Like, all right. I don't know what you expected to happen.
Then Vince
but
and Shane arm wrestled for 3 hours.
presumably.
Yeah.
Next up, the Raw Tag Team Championships, a triple threat
Yep.
between the champions, the Revival, defending against Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, and Ricochet and Aleister Black. It's the dumb kind of triple threat tag team match where only 2 teams are legal at a time.
Yep.
I hate this. I don't know why this is still a match. I thought we'd moved away from this. It makes no sense and is bad. It doesn't make any sense.
I just love Graham has strong opinions on tag team triple threats.
It's like I'm so the only way that like the third team gets in is when one person is like, I'm so worn out that I'm about to get pinned and therefore lose, so I have to tag in the nearest person, which is on the third team, and now no one from my team is in, and we have no chance unless that same thing happens to one of the 2 teams that is now legal. It's bonkers.
that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
It's about desperation.
I guess.
Because that's the way you, like, I've never heard of this before, but the way you sell it, it sounds like, I'm so desperate to not lose, I need time to get out so we can try to get back in later.
Yeah, but then you're just chilling with
you
your
have
teammate.
to bank on
Yeah, someone else getting
that
screwed.
happening to one of the other teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than losing immediately, I guess.
Yes, but I think it's dumb. Why not just have a triple threat anyway?
Sure.
So
Graham's, you're right.
thank you.
You're right, Graham. Dad, it is dumb. Now every time you've ruined triple threat tag team matches forever.
It's not the first time I've taken umbrage with this particular match type. So the Revival are the champions.
Yeah.
After threatening to ask for their release.
Yeah. Turns out, if you threaten to ask for your release, especially when a rival wrestling promotion is starting up, the WWE will be like, oh, crap. Oh, we'll focus more on tag team wrestling. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Which they are trying to do.
Yeah.
Apparently, Anderson and Gallows are going to be like peacing out.
Yeah, they've said they have no interest in renewing their contract when
Yeah.
it's up. Probably because where have they been? They've been wasted completely.
They're super funny, too.
Yeah, they're really funny.
They're very funny. Very entertaining.
The Chad Gable in the Bobby Roode outfit during
Looks
their
weird,
entrance,
right?
he does not look comfortable in that robe.
No.
He's not. He doesn't quite have the gravitas to pull it off.
Yeah.
And Ricochet and Aleister Black, recently up from NXT, really cool entrances.
Yeah.
Nice to see they kept the entrances for the
Yeah.
main roster. Very cool. Also weird that they're on a team, but
It's weird that
Sure.
they're branded as NXT. Like, when they enter, their graphic is NXT. Like,
right. Because we don't know what brand they're going to, right?
they're just kind of doing whatever.
It's odd.
That's why I'm trying to think, like, is with this Vince and Shane thing and Steph and Triple H, like, does Steph and Triple H are bringing in NXT guys for, like, an invasion? I don't think so, but I mean, like, they could be building to something at SummerSlam, I guess, like
Yeah.
after WrestleMania, but I have no idea.
This match reminded me just how good the Revival are.
Oh, they're
Just
awesome.
how snappy and clean.
They're so awesome. Dude,
We've talked about them before. Their gimmick is men who are very good at wrestling.
Yeah.
And I know that might sound weird, but it's just they just know exactly what to do and where to be and how to
And like
how to execute
I
things
love that
properly.
part of their thing is like pushing for people to follow the rules of tag team wrestling. You get like that little rope that you have to
Yeah.
hold in the corner. You have to hold that.
You
to
gotta
get
hold your
tagged.
tag rope.
And there's like it's only above like you can't your shoulders can't go past the ropes like when you're reaching out for the tag. Like you have to like there's like a plane, an invisible wall. It's so good, dude. I love it so much. Yeah. I mean, the storyline leading to this was there was no storyline really.
No,
Like,
there was
Gable and Roode wanted a tag team match or rematch, but they got rid of the rematch clause. So then they interrupted in Aleister Black and Ricochet had a tag team title shot on Raw, and then Gable and Roode attacked the Revival, causing a disqualification.
Yeah.
And that's what ended up setting up this triple threat.
Yeah.
It was a good match.
It was a fun match.
It was a lot of fun. Revival are great. Aleister and Ricochet are awesome.
Oh yeah.
Gable and Roode are great.
Yeah.
I feel it's unfortunate for Roode like that he just kind of like
Ended up in the tag division.
Well,
somehow.
I don't think being in the tag division's a bad thing.
no,
but just like
if they're taking
he
it
was
more
so
seriously
good.
now, yeah.
He was so good in NXT, like as a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then he came to the main roster and was like a baby face.
Well, because
but
his
like
his theme was over.
yeah.
Glorious.
I think your theme can be over and you can still be a bad guy though.
Yeah.
Because I've always pictured him as like that Ric Flair style heel, like wears a suit all the time, you know, just a bad guy. Like
That's what he's been,
Yeah.
especially with the robe.
yeah,
Revival wins. They defend their titles by hitting, I love their finisher name, the Shatter Machine.
yeah. Dude, there's a great moment too, though, like where the best moment of the match was try not to hit the table. When Ricochet did a dive over the corner and Chad Gable tagged himself in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Ricochet went to go jump over and Chad Gable was dook and just hits him and was like, tag in. It's like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so good. So, yeah.
And then after the match, for some
Everybody fights more.
Everyone just fights more, and Ricochet hits a 630.
Man,
which
he
is-
landed right on top of him, too.
Which is not a number of degrees you hear often. But yeah, he flipped 630
into like a
degrees
senton.
over
But
forward.
usually when he hits it, he just does the 630 and then like kind of just rolls off the guy and like Ricochet.
No, this was just slammed.
He was just like, I was like, oh. Yeah.
Next up, it's a fatal four-way for the WWE United States Championship. Samoa Joe defending against Rey Mysterio, Andrade, and R-Truth. Scott Steiner is nowhere to give us the math on this. Carmella and Zelina Vega are at ringside.
Yeah.
Hoof.
This match was fun.
Yeah.
I like this match a lot. Rey Mysterio still got it. Andrade is so good. Dude, I love that like Andrade's thing where he goes for the kick and then goes right into the elbow. Where he spins into the back elbow.
Mysterio hits a double Hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Like, he hits a Hurricane Rana on two men at the same time.
So, yeah, but also the lead up to this, we should mention,
Oh, yeah, I guess.
is that R-Truth was the U.S. champion and he was doing an open challenge, and then Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, and Andrade showed up all at the same time.
And now, why was he doing an open challenge?
Because he wants to be just like his childhood hero, John Cena.
John Cena.
So R-Truth, when R-Truth was a child, just to spell it out for you, when R-Truth was a child, John Cena probably wasn't even born yet. So that's R-Truth's thing. Like that's always been his gimmick. He's a moron. R-Truth is way older than
R-Truth is 47.
Yeah.
John Cena is 41.
Okay.
So yeah, when
childhood
R-Truth
is
was, yeah,
when R-Truth was 6.
John Cena was not yet born.
Yeah. So childhood hero.
Yeah. And so because Cena did that great U.S. Championship Open Challenge
Yeah.
thing, and so he's like, I'm going to do this too. So he did an Open Challenge, and they had, yeah.
I think they're just gonna do.
He did one successfully. He did.
He's defended it twice. Like it was
Yeah,
two
yeah,
times
yeah.
that he did it.
Yeah.
I think that John Cena and Samoa Joe are gonna have a match at WrestleMania. I think that's what they're leading into.
Oh, that's why they keep name dropping Cena. You
Yeah.
think? I can see that.
Because in John Cena's like Samoa Joe is gonna beat up everybody, and then John Cena's like, you haven't beat me. My time is now.
I like that Truth starts using John Cena's 5 moves of doom in this match. Like he does the 5-knuckle shuffle. And yeah. It's very, very strange.
Bring back little Jimmy, you
Oh,
cowards.
right. Yeah, little Jimmy. I like so the end of this match is Samoa Joe choking out Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
But I like that he reached like across the ring and just grabbed Rey's trunks and was like zoop.
Yeah.
Just like grabbed him and just moved this entire human very handily. Just whoop and brought him
This
into the
tiny human.
into the choke.
Hey Graham.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a sleeper hold and the coquina clutch?
If you're Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
is that
What's the damage modifier on a coquina
on
clutch?
being Samoa Joe? It's pretty high.
But I mean, like, because like a sleeper hold, whenever he gets him in the sleeper hold, I'm just like, because when he's standing and doing it, like, I guess the coquina clutch part of it is like the rear naked choke when he like grapevines you and like is laying down and choking you out. But it's just like, what's the difference? It's just like the damage modifier on renaming a move, or if a move, like if my signature move was a body slam,
Right.
but it was named like the pulverizer or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Then it does more damage than just like a normal regular move.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Not 100% damage. It 100% has a modifier. I don't know what that is yet. Jury's still out, but it's definitely a damage modifier.
I just find it fun. Like, that's the thing about wrestling that always gets me. It's like, is there a difference between Seth Rollins' sling blade and Finn Balor's sling blade? Is one stronger than the other?
Probably.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
I don't know, but
These are the things
I don't know, but
these are the things I think about.
I don't know, but Finn's is stronger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. The next match is the Women's Tag Team Championships, the first defense of the Women's Tag Team Championships. Sasha and Bayley, the Boss and Hug Connection, defending against, what was their team name again? Nia Jax and Tamina.
Matryoshka dolls.
No. They had a name.
Me and my son.
Yeah.
It was at this point in the evening that Adam Savadan had realized he had washed and dried his passport and has to be in America in less than a week. So my attention span from this point onwards is shaky at best.
Okay. I'll do what I can.
All right.
Before the match, they introduce Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix, who is out there to help commentate the match.
It's not a very long match, is it?
It's not a long match. In fact, I can tell you exactly how long the match is.
Yeah.
It
I like it when you look up the times.
is 7 minutes.
Oh.
So, not a short match.
7 minutes on the nose?
7:05.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Second
like nice even numbers.
shortest. Oh, no, sorry. Shortest match of the night was the Bar beating the crap out of Kofi at 5:15. 6:40 for Asuka defeating Mandy Rose, and then this was 7:05. Yeah, it was fine. There was an awkward Samoan drop. That didn't quite land. Didn't get all of it, to quote Michael Cole. And,
Or like Vince McMahon, he got all of it.
Yeah.
What a maneuver.
What a maneuver.
Wrestling fans don't know wrestling moves. They just call them maneuvers.
Yeah. The storyline leading into this was that they're the tag champs, and Nia and Tamina wanted to challenge them for
Wanted
it.
to fight them.
And yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
that's why the Iconics were on the pre-show, because they were looking for Sasha and Bayley. Like, you see them.
Yes.
We haven't seen them on SmackDown. And
Right.
like, they're supposed to be traveling champions, huh?
Right.
Where are they?
Where are they?
I don't want to do an Australian accent because
Bayley hits a Hurricane Rana onto Nia to get a pinfall and retain.
Yep.
So Bayley and Sasha retain. So no idea what is going to look like for Mania, but
probably some sort of multi-team match.
probably.
Hands down.
As long as they don't do the stupid tag rules, we should be all right.
Triple threat tag, you cowards.
The interesting storytelling in this came, of course, after the match, because Nia and Tamina immediately attack them, throw them outside the ring. Nia tosses Sasha Banks clear over the announce table.
Yeah.
And so, which is where Beth Phoenix is.
Yeah.
So she leaves the commentary table and starts arguing with Tamina. She starts fighting with Tamina. Nia attacks Beth Phoenix, Hall of Famer Beth Phoenix. And then Natalya runs down. If you recall, we mentioned some episodes back that Natalya and Beth Phoenix used to be in a tag team called Pin Up Strong.
Yep.
And then Nia beats the crap out of Natalya. So basically, Nia and Tamina leave Natalya and Beth Phoenix
Wanting a WrestleMania match.
in the
it's basically.
So I don't know. Maybe that'll be its own match. Maybe they'll be part of this presumed multi-team.
I think they might give them their own match.
I could see that.
Yeah. Because
So
Beth's like a Hall of Famer, and then Natalya's a future Hall of Famer, and
definitely.
they're trying to sell Tamina and Nia as like big threats, right?
Yeah. Next is the WWE Championship match.
Yeah.
Which the ring announcer says is a triple threat.
I was so confused.
So
I was like,
so were the commentators. They were like, but you said, but Kofi, we saw what happened to Kofi earlier.
Yeah.
Why is this still a triple threat? So Daniel Bryan comes out and Kevin Owens comes out, and then Mustafa Ali comes out.
yeah.
Because if you recall, Mustafa Ali was supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber and then got injured, and then they had to put Kofi in the Elimination Chamber, and then that whole storyline happened. And so Mustafa Ali sort of missed out on his opportunity. So him being in this match totally makes sense, but boy, the crowd is not happy. Big props, not just to Mustafa Ali, particularly props to him, but for all three people in this match, because this match started with a very loud "We want Kofi" chant.
Yep.
The crowd was unhappy with how things were going because they want Kofi involved. We were talking about this before we started recording, and I said I was going to say it on the podcast as well. How amazing is it that WWE have almost completely replicated the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania storyline?
Yeah.
Not just with another wrestler, but with Daniel Bryan as the bad guy in this,
Genius.
in the same
So smart.
basic storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, props to all three of them for turning it around.
Man.
'Cause this was a hell of a match. Mustafa
We also
Ali,
watched like people almost die about 30 times.
Oh.
Mustafa Ali especially.
Mustafa Ali was amazing in this match. But yeah, Kevin Owens almost killed himself
Yeah.
doing a dive over the ropes. He jumped over the ropes onto Daniel Bryan and nearly cracked his skull open on the commentary table. We're talking centimeters here. I'm going to try and show you that in slow motion, but woof.
Yeah. It
It
was
was-
scary, man. And like, man, sucks that the crowd was so crappy. I kind of get it, like just because of the way the Kofi storyline is playing out. And like the WWE facilitated it by doing this.
I was
Like,
going to
they
say,
know-
to my mind, that's operating as intended.
Yeah, that's true. It just sucks it's got to kind of feel, even though the performers are expecting it.
Yeah.
And the people that are doing the storylines are expecting it. It just sucks for the performers in the ring. But I mean, they did almost kill themselves to get the crowd back into it, which they did. But it just sucks. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's a little feel bads. Like that's all.
Ali and Owens start by knocking Daniel Bryan out of the ring.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, cool. Now we can fight.
Yeah.
And Owens, I missed Kevin Owens
He's so good,
much.
dude. He's so good.
The in-ring trash talk is unparalleled. He
Yeah.
starts giving Mustafa just like so many chops and yelling, do you regret being in this match yet?
Yeah. Kevin Owens is the best. I missed him so much.
It's,
Yeah, he's great.
Speaking of chops to the chest, the Ric Flair chops, did you see a picture of Daniel Bryan after this match?
No.
His chest was just like,
It's always like that.
Ground
though.
beef.
Yeah, I remember at the
well, I guess they were just like, you can't take headshots anymore. And he's like, all right, cool. Hey, just fuck my shit up,
like,
everybody.
chop me,
just
daddy.
go to town on my chest. Yeah.
remember at the was it the Greatest Royal Rumble when Daniel Bryan his chest was just ground beef?
Yeah.
Was it the Greatest Royal Rumble?
I think so, yeah. Rest of the pay-per-view schedule, I think, got released for the rest of 2019,
Yeah, and
including two shows, I think, that we're just not going to cover.
oh,
I think there's 2 Saudi Arabia shows this year.
we get 2? Vacation time. Maybe we can
They're always extraneous to the...
always do that Daniel Bryan retrospective we talked
Someday,
about 3
yeah.
years ago.
We'll get
Big
on that.
promises from your boys on Sidewalk Slam.
I mean,
yeah,
now
we'll
there's-
have time.
Now it's like and then he came out of retirement to be continued.
Yeah.
So anyway, how long was this match, Graham? This match was 18 and a half minutes.
It was great.
Good.
Definitely
match.
worth seeing this match. I'm not like the biggest Mustafa Ali fan. Like
I'm not
I
like
think he's fine.
I think I agree with
But he's
you.
growing on
but
me.
he was great in this match.
Yeah, he's growing on
and
me.
particularly with the starting from a baseline of we want Kofi.
Yeah.
It's just like to turn it from that into this was very impressive.
Like if you got to think about it, if this was done during the Daniel Bryan thing, I don't think many people would have been able to turn that around.
yeah.
And for these 3 men to go in there, and give us a match that makes a crowd stop thinking about Kofi for a second,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive. So, shout out to them, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Daniel Bryan murders Ali with the knee.
Yes.
Oh, he had to finish the match.
That's how Daniel
It was
Bryan retains.
awesome. Yeah, it was so good. Like Mustafa Ali's like running to the corner or something, goes to do like a backflip or like a twisty flip, some hashtag flippy shit that's probably ruining wrestling.
You're right, sure.
And Daniel Bryan comes in like a tiny vegan freight train and just absolutely murders Kofi midair with that running knee. Choo choo, baby.
Ali, you said Kofi.
Oh yeah, Ali.
what
Sorry.
the things you want.
We want
Yeah,
it to be Kofi,
yeah.
but
Well, I don't want him to murder Kofi.
no. I'm sure this means that Kofi will be in the Mania match.
He has to win, right?
If this doesn't end with Kofi beating Daniel Bryan at a one-on-one match at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
this whole storyline has been worthless.
You know what would be the best? Okay, so they do Kofi and Daniel Bryan. Kofi loses, but then Roman Reigns comes out and they do that thing like they did at WrestleMania 9 when Brett lost to Yoko and then Hulk Hogan came out and won the title off Yoko immediately. Hell yeah, brother. WWE Creative, call me up.
They just hired a bunch of like older people.
Bruce Pritchard's back.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that is wild.
Dana Warrior is a writer.
Yeah.
That's also wild.
You know who else is in creative now?
What?
Abyss.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, from TNA Impact.
Yeah.
I want just once I want to see Abyss in the Rumble
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
next year. Now that was Matt Park.
I didn't watch any TNA, so I didn't see any
Abyss
stuff.
was pretty rad.
Yeah.
He was like and he's the only person who like stayed super loyal to not the only person who stayed loyal, but like he's the only person who like
He was like their Undertaker, right? Is what
yeah,
I
he was
get
like
from
their
it.
Undertaker, their Mankind sort of thing. They apparently wanted to have like at some point they wanted to have a match with him and Taker.
Huh.
But he sort of assumed that it'd be like, okay, so I go and I get fed to Taker and then what? So he was like, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah.
But now he's working for them as a road agent, so hey, good for him.
Good for you. There was like this big like kerfuffle about in WWE backstage about how they were like hiring all these new creative members, and like I think it was for what we can tell, rumors say it was the threat of All Elite Wrestling, which is Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Yep.
And WWE was in like an all hands on deck kind of mode. So I don't know what it means for the future, but
We'll see.
we are getting like, I mean, they're giving us Kofi, like, you know what I mean? Like it feels like change is happening for the
Yep.
better.
I hope so. I still think that having both the Kofi Kingston and the Becky Lynch storylines having the same Vince comes out and just changes it because is a little sad.
Ham-fisted.
Yeah.
It's like we have to get somewhere. How do we get there? Well, Vince is dead.
Speaking of which,
Yep.
our next match, the penultimate match of the evening, is
Oh yeah.
Charlotte Flair
Yeah.
versus Becky Lynch.
Yep.
If Becky wins,
Yep.
then she gets to be in the match that she is allowed to be in anyway
That she won the
because she won
fucking
the Royal Rumble
Yeah, it's just like
after already fighting Asuka that night. From a in storyline, that bothers me.
yeah.
But I get what they're doing as a storyline.
It feels like as a viewer, they could have handled the storyline a lot better.
Yes, they absolutely.
If we're going to
could
be
have.
critical, because like
Which is frankly
they are lucky.
what we're here to do.
They are lucky that Becky is as popular and on fire as she is.
Oh, she's so
for
good.
how bad this storyline has
Yeah,
been. You know what I
man.
mean? Like, and anyone else, and if they're not as popular as Becky Lynch has been, or like, it just dies.
Yeah.
I don't care who. Like, and you have three of the like you have Charlotte and Ronda and Becky in this storyline.
Yep.
And it's like, man, it's been bad. Square peg, round hole. Like, just like.
Recap. Against all odds, Becky wins the Women's Rumble. Challenges Ronda Rousey for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
She has a bad knee injury during the Rumble.
Yeah.
She pisses off Triple H and Stephanie. They say that she's not in the match anymore unless she apologizes. She sucks it up and apologizes. They're like, all right, cool. The match is back on.
The best part about that, actually, the storyline was really good up to this point.
Yes.
Because there's the part where Ronda approached her. I love the exchange between Ronda and Becky backstage, and Ronda's like, do you want to rob everyone of this match? Like, don't just apologize and move on, and then we can fight.
Then we get to have our fight.
Yeah, it was great. Loved it.
Then Vince comes out and goes, no, you're not enough of a star power, so you're out. You're suspended for 60 days, which is until 5 days after Mania, and it's going to be Ronda versus Charlotte Flair. Which, this is why, from a storyline perspective, I hate it, because it's like, then what's the point of the Rumble?
Yeah.
Vince?
It's just like,
So, and to be clear, it's like, well, Vince is the boss. He can do whatever he wants. Yes, that's lazy storytelling.
that's super lazy.
I realize there's an in-story explanation for why it could be that way, but it's lazy.
They'll never explain to us why, too. Like, we'll
No.
never know.
No.
Why
We'll
Vince
never know.
came out there that one night and said,
Absolutely.
you're not the man. I'm the man. I'm the man.
So then, Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
Becky shows up with the crutches and
Beats the tar out of both of them.
beats the crap out of Ronda and Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then Ronda confronts Steph on Raw, and Ronda asks her to reinstate Becky.
Yeah.
And is like, the whole point is that I need to be defending this against it. Ronda isn't super comfortable with scripted promos, and she's been kind of the weak link of this whole storyline.
Yeah.
But she goes...
To be fair, she's only been in the business for a year, though.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, she's also like the star of this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the public-facing star. The person that people outside of wrestling care about.
Yeah.
She says to Steph, she's like, what's the point of this title if I'm not defending it against the people who are the best? What's the point of the title if you're just going to say, oh, you're actually fighting Charlotte instead? Mm-hmm. So if that's just going to happen, if you're not going to put Becky back in, then whatever. And she leaves, she drops the title at Steph's feet and leaves. And that's after that night on Raw, Becky got arrested, air quotes, right? She got arrested for running because she was suspended, and she jumped the barricade and started trying to fight again. Then a whole bunch of like deeply embarrassing Twitter beef started happening, which is it's not been a high point of this thing with like they're trying to balance. I am coming into this under the assumption that everything that's happening on Twitter is approved by WWE.
100%.
So we're accepting that.
Yeah.
They're trying to get Ronda to have a balance between promoting the match for wrestling fans and also for all of Ronda's existing MMA followers who are criticizing her for doing the fake stuff.
Yeah.
And so she's cutting promos being like, yeah, whatever, wrestling's fake, but this feud is real. And Becky's like, you get the F word out of your mouth. How dare you? And getting like really incensed. And Becky's way better at Twitter than Ronda is.
Yeah.
And Ronda has come off very embarrassingly bad in this whole Twitter exchange. And I wish they wouldn't. They shouldn't have gone that route. They should have just... If Ronda's fans can't accept the fact that she is an actor on a television show that happens to involve choreographed fights, then so be it. But they shouldn't have capitulated to that by being like, yeah, wrestling's fake, whatever. But,
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that one.
No.
Ronda says the word. She does like a road trip video. She posts to YouTube and she said the word kayfabe. It was weird. Ooh. It was like, I don't like this. Nope. It's like, all done. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to see this anymore. I'm good, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it better when it was like, I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you. All right, let's fight.
And it's unclear if I don't understand if they're trying to make her a face or a heel.
Yeah.
It's super unclear, and not in like we've talked before about like, it doesn't always have to be good guys and bad guys. There can be shades of gray, but it's not that. It's like doing things that are it's oscillating rapidly between black and white.
Yeah.
If you do it fast enough, it looks gray, but she's not, and it's just like,
Yeah. It's like, I see your problem here is someone left the doll switch to evil, and it's like the crusty thing. Yeah.
So Steph eventually overrules Vince? ? Somehow.
Yeah.
Because I guess he wasn't paying attention that week. Considering that considering Triple H and Steph were like, okay, fine, you're in the match, and Vince was like, I overrule it. Now Steph's like, well, I now overruled my dad. Okay, so Becky is no longer suspended and has a match tonight against Charlotte, and if Becky wins, then it will be a triple threat at Mania. The triple threat that we wished was a one-on-one match with Becky and Ronda, but we'll take it as long as Becky is involved and gets to win at WrestleMania. But it's been so convoluted to get to this point.
It's a bit much.
So Becky, who is still using a crutch and has a leg brace, ably hobbles her way down to the ring, and Charlotte immediately just starts going after the knee.
Yep.
And it looks pretty grim. Luckily, the knee doesn't affect Becky's ability to use the disarm her.
Yes.
Because she can just sit on the knee. But it does make her very weak to Charlotte's figure eight.
Yeah. Like in the wrestling video games when they had like on the UI, they'd have like the body.
Yeah.
Becky's leg would be all red.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's her weakest spot, or the part that hurt the most.
But then,
if it was WWE No Mercy for the N64, she'd be like holding her leg.
before the end, when all looks lost, and it looks like Becky's about to have to tap out.
I was so mad about this. This is the only thing that I didn't like.
The shout outs to the camera, because it's a shot of Charlotte and Becky in the ring, and you can see the top of the entrance ramp and Ronda just hauling ass down the ramp.
Yeah.
Ronda comes out of the back, runs into the ring, just pops Becky in the face, just punches her in the face, and then just looks at the ref and leans up against the ring ropes like, what you gonna do about it? And the ref has to be like,
ham-fisted,
and so the ref's like, I'm gonna do what you know I have to do, which is ring the bell and say that Becky won the match as a result of a disqualification.
That's so stupid. Oh man, the one punch too. She just stood over. I was like, pop. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna hit her. I was like, don't hit her.
So now it's a triple threat because
Yeah.
Becky won the match by DQ because Ronda attacked her, and Ronda seems really happy about this. I don't know why.
Yeah, she just put herself at a disadvantage.
And so, but the thing is, like she said previously to Steph, she's like, I want to fight Becky, and I want to defend the title against the person who's the best. But that's not the same as a triple threat. She wanted a one-on-one against Becky.
Yeah.
But now she has to defend in a triple threat. Charlotte is pissed.
Yeah.
And Becky is just sort of like wiping her mouth off and laughing and being like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
You almost think we would have planned this.
Yeah, exactly.
Speculation, though, does maybe Ronda's going to be like, I'm going to get my one-on-one one way or the other, and if I have to, I'll just ruthlessly take out
If Ronda takes out Charlotte before Mania somehow, that would be amazing.
That would be great for the story. I mean,
That would suck for
It
Charlotte,
suck
but that would
for
be
Charlotte.
amazing for the story.
for the story, it'd be brilliant. But they're not going to do it.
My favorite part after the post-match, they didn't get a really good shot of it, but my favorite part of the post-match was Becky looking at the crowd, and she sort of like looks at the WrestleMania sign, and she puts her arm up, and she's like, I'm going to do it. And does the point at the sign. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, we got to where we needed to get, as awkward as it was. Mm-hmm. That one punch, man, that cracked me up. She just ran in like she's like, it's like she walked in on her kids fighting. It was like, stop it. Just like, stop,
Yep.
Stop your fighting. It's like, okay. Yeah.
The third and final appearance of Elias tonight. This is weird. So he comes out, he talks about what just happened. Becky Lynch is going to, it's like the really quick turnaround on that one. Your second sight is doing amazing work, Elias.
Yeah.
And he sings and he insults Cleveland. He's like, wow, it must suck to be in Cleveland, I guess. And then Lacey Evans comes out.
I don't get this.
And walks to the ring in her pinup attire and turns around and leaves again.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. If I don't understand it, Graham, is it art?
Lacey Evans cut a promo at the beginning of the Women's Rumble about how she was here to kick ass and take names and put the women's division on notice, and people would pay attention to her and respect her. And she was in the Rumble for like 35 minutes before being eliminated, and since then she's done fuck all. Mm-hmm. And it's been stupid.
Yep.
That was a great setup, and this is making her character useless.
Yep.
Except for distracting Elias so that he could get RKO'd by
Keith Orton.
Randy Orton with a really out of nowhere. He was flying just horizontally through the air.
Yeah.
It was very impressive coming in from off camera. Just whoop. And which is weird because they're on different brands. So it's like, okay, Randy's just doesn't like Elias, I guess. Yeah. And then AJ Styles is also there for some reason and hits Randy with a phenomenal forearm. And then they leave.
Yep.
What was that?
Well, Randy has been like targeting AJ on weeks leading up to this.
Okay.
And that's it.
Oh.
So they're going to fight at WrestleMania.
Okay.
AJ and Randall.
But like, just
Randall, what did you say? Fuck.
What, Randall Keith Orton?
Randall Keith from Candlekeep. That's
right.
Fuck, man.
Everyone's favorite. What did we say? Bard? What?
Yeah,
Rogue?
I don't
What
know.
was
He's
he?
probably a rogue.
Yeah.
Favorite Wanty. He's a Wanty. He's a Wanty Ranger. Randall Keith from Candlekeep.
Wanty, wow.
That's
All
the
right.
snake people, right?
Yeah. What a odd choice. Oh, the snake, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, the Viper.
Yeah.
Randall Keith from Candlekeith.
He's a Wanty.
Oh my God.
Book it.
That's so good. Okay.
I just like the name Randall Keith from Candlekeith.
It's time for your main event. There is no storyline.
There was a sorry.
You're gonna have to work through all this, I think. Yeah, get there.
We can get there. So there was a little bit of story. They tried to because Dean Ambrose is leaving the WWE.
It's weird. It's weird, man.
It's weird.
It's weird. Okay.
It's weird, and I don't know if I like it.
Seth Rollins has a match against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Universal title.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns had to vacate the Universal title some months back because he had a relapse of leukemia. That is not a storyline. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
Thank goodness he's in remission.
Yeah.
Assuredly, he got the best medical assistance that money can buy.
Mm-hmm.
And good for him. I am obviously very happy that he is in remission.
Yeah.
So he comes back. He's like, he cuts a very smooth, easy promo because he's just talking. He's just being Roman Reigns from the heart. He's not running scripted lines. He sounds very natural and likable. And he's like, hey, what's up? I'm back. I'm in remission. Everything's great. I want to get the band back together and have another match as the Shield. And it's like, what? Why? What? And apparently it's because Dean Ambrose is leaving. So that leaked as a rumor a while ago. And then WWE, which they never do, and I need to stress this, they never do this, very quickly confirmed it. And what's his name? Jonathan Good? They were like, yes, Jonathan Good, the performer who portrays Dean Ambrose, has requested the release of his contract, and he will not be re-signing after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it's like, they never say that.
It's fine. It's weird.
And so people were like, is this a part of the story? And they're like, no, it's not. He's just leaving, and we didn't want rampant speculation, so we just figured, yes, he's leaving.
Huh.
So it's like, okay, strange. But now I'm sure it's a story, or that he has decided to re-sign.
Okay.
Because apparently he was not happy with how his character was being portrayed. He doesn't like being goofy. He doesn't mind being a little unhinged, but he wants to be not like, I'm Dean Ambrose, the lunatic fringe. Yeah. And
when John Layfield was like, he's crazy. He doesn't know what he's doing half the time.
And so now
why was that Vince McMahon?
now there's rumors that he has re-signed, but the WWE is still maintaining that he's not. Because they keep bringing it up. They keep going, Dean Ambrose is not renewing his contract, so this is the last reunion of the Shield. But they never say
the butterfly thing. Is this a worked shoot?
And they don't say why. Obviously, they won't say why he's not resigning his contract. They just keep saying he won't. And so I'm confident that the only reason they're doing that is so they can be like, it's the last reunion of the Shield. Ah.
Yeah.
So Roman says that he wants to get back together. Dean's been a little weird recently, but Dean agrees on Raw. They do the
There's a great
fists
moment where Dean got beat up by McIntyre and Lashley and Corbin.
Yeah.
And then Dean was backstage in a little pillow fort that he made for himself on top of one of those the cases that they keep equipment in, you know what I mean? A roadie case kind of. He's on the roadie case, and there was two hanging drapes, and he was sitting in this little pillow fort by himself, and he's like, I need time to think. It was really good. I was like, I guess that's probably why he's leaving, because you're gonna make a pillow fort because you're a big baby.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant. Babies are funny. I love babies.
So,
Sure was a match.
And is this the only reason that Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley are hanging out? Just so they can be or were they already hanging out and they were like, Shield, you three are a team. There's the match. There was literally the storyline for this was Roman was in remission and wanted to be the Shield again.
Yep.
And they went, okay, we'll be the Shield again.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
It was a fine match, I guess. It was weird seeing them dressed like the Shield again. I can't believe Rollins wrestles with that belt pack.
Yeah.
I was like, that seems really uncomfortable. And Rollins was doing like Shield.
What do you think's in those packs? I think it's granola bars.
Oh yeah, in case he gets a bit peckish mid-match.
I just wanted to like pull out.
When you're on the top turnbuckle, like I don't know what sort of altitude that is, but it's like, oh, I really need a snack here. He was doing like the early Shield Seth Rollins crazy eyes at one point. He was doing like, like in that GIF. That there's one GIF of Seth Rollins doing like, Arr. I will not be able to find it for this edit, by the way. And
be able to find it.
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. They did the Shield entrance. They came down out of the crowd. That was cool.
Yeah. They brawled on the outside.
They did a whole bunch of brawling on the people who weren't the legal in-ring men were doing like brawling over by the Kickoff Show.
I have a problem
table.
with this match.
Oh yeah.
So at one point, Drew McIntyre makes this big show about trying to get Dean Ambrose counted out to end the match.
Right.
And then Dean Ambrose gets in at the 9 count. And then the second half of the match takes place completely outside the ring.
Wasn't it the non-legal men fighting outside the ring?
Everyone was fighting outside the ring.
I guess you're right.
Everybody.
Seth Rollins jumps down from the like upper level.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Of the stands. That was pretty sweet.
Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns, like Baron Corbin goes to like do that thing where he runs and slides to the corner, but then Roman Reigns like stuck his foot out, so he had to like when he was running, he got hit by the foot and then like slid around and like did the thing. He still had to go through with it, and the commentary's like, "Oh, I didn't get all of it." Like,
man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, the thing is, like, everyone in the match is skilled at it, so it was entertaining enough.
It was a fun match. I liked it.
And they did like the power bomb and stuff, like the.
It was a good moment. Like the
other
Shield
three,
got back together.
Yeah,
Everyone's like,
it's a feel good thing for like Roman's back at 100%, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that was
I thought
cool.
Dean was turning again, man. I thought for sure he was just gonna do it.
I mean, we're recording during Monday Night Raw, where apparently the Shield are having their farewell address. So who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows?
I hope I can't claim this idea as my own. I saw this on the subreddit, but someone's like, I want Roman and Dean to have a match at WrestleMania, but it's just like, but Roman's like, hey, so you're on your way out. You want to just fight at Mania?
Oh, that'd be cool.
And have Dean be like, yeah, right. Because there was a match a while ago where it was like a multi-person match, and Dean and was it Seth and Roman, 2 of the Shield and someone else were in the ring, and someone was like, loser buys beer, and they're like, yeah, right,
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
And so it'd be cool if it was just like hey, buddy, before you go, you want to just have a fight? And I think that'd be cool, but I doubt that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're probably going to do some terrible Dean Ambrose further heel turn again. He'll be like the new Big Show. Face turn, heel turn, like a revolving door.
It'd be great though. It'd be the alt. I don't even know if I could say it. If like Dean Ambrose attacks Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose gets mad at Roman for not being there when Roman got sick.
You were gone for like 5 months. Where were you? Like, I was undergoing leukemia treatment. Oh.
But he's a lunatic, so he doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't know what he's
crazy,
doing or where he is.
I'm still accepting calls, WWE, if you ever want to hire me on your creative.
Yeah. So it ends with, obviously, the Shield wins because they're not going to have Roman lose his match coming back, and they end with doing the fist bump in the middle of the ring. And again, it was cool and everything, but there was no story. There was no storyline leading up, and there won't be a storyline leading out either.
Well,
like, there could be like some Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns stuff, but like they're not going to feud with the other 3 people. Seth has his own thing going on. Dean might legitimately be leaving. I kind of don't think so because they keep mentioning it. But it's like this match isn't going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. This was just a one-time. Hey, it's the Shield, which is fine because
I guess like the only minor thread was that Drew McIntyre was really good at mentioning this. He's like, I'm going to destroy the Shield. I've done it once before. I'll do it again. So that's true. That was like his one thread.
Yeah.
Yep.
Overall,
I liked this show. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a good moment with Roman and everybody else at the end. You got to see the Shield get back together. They were great.
We're only 4 weeks away from WrestleMania.
4 weeks from the best time of the year. There was some good building, like Natalya and Beth Phoenix obviously going to fight Tamina and Nia. And then there was, sadly, we got AJ building with Randy Orton, which will be fun. There's two good people in the ring together. And then we had building for Kofi, which was great. I thought the triple threat or the handicap swerve was awesome. It was so good. It's like they get it sometimes,
No, it was really, really
But
good.
then we had the stuff with like Becky and Ronda, which is just a means to an end. You know, that's what it felt like. It was like, oh, we got to get there. How do we get there? It's
ups
like,
and downs. Overall, this show,
as with any show,
this
though,
show was good. I do think that particular storyline has been needlessly overcomplicated.
Yeah.
But overall, I'm very, very excited to see how things go for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for this episode.
We made it.
We made it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this. If you need to hit me up on Twitter for any reason, I am at Graham_LRR.
Yeah, and you can get me at Wake Up Super.
Beej has been here the whole time. Thank you, Beej.
Beej.
For your participation in the evening's frivolities.
Yeah.
Beej's weird mastodon thing will be on screen right now. I don't know what your social media is.
Your weird fucking social media, you psychopath.
And until next time, a reminder that this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. Until next time, the WrestleMania episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.